When your child is communicating with ghosts, you should listen. Posted to TikTok by PG Stories, this toddler seems to be communicating with the other side. The boy says goodnight to someone in the bathroom. When his mom goes to check it out, there's no one there.
Who are you saying goodnight to?
Him. Good night.
Who?
Him. Good night.
Jagger, there's no one up there.
Him up there.
Show me.
Him up there.
He seems to be pointing to the vent. Is someone hiding up there? Is there a phantom in the vent? Or is it just the kid's wild imagination? I feel like this video left us with more questions than answers. This neighborhood in Land O'Lakes, Florida was built on shaky ground, and now the earth is reclaiming the houses as its own. Within the course of 9 hours, this house is completely snapped in half and sinking into a swell of groundwater so deep that it engulfs a palm tree with ease.
Look at the water, see how much water?
¿Y si lo pasa a nosotros?
Hours later, the sinkhole has easily quadrupled in size and is busy dismantling a second house. There is nothing that can be done as the foundation is ripped away. Here you can see how close this third pink house comes to being lost in the abyss. Only a small strip of land protects its corner from going under, but somehow it holds firm and the family is able to recover their belongings. Sadly, all of the remaining houses had to be condemned because even though they were spared this time, the sinkhole could randomly widen at any minute. It's a terrible situation, but perhaps most terrifying is that moments before their eventual collapse, you would never suspect that anything was wrong. All of the houses look structurally sound in these photos taken months prior. The yards and driveways look level, the telephone poles stand straight up without leaning, and the roads likewise look smooth and have little cracks. In other words, exactly like your neighborhood probably looks right now. When UPS shows up at your door and you haven't ordered anything, be wary. Published to YouTube in May of 2020 by NeoSum. This Ring doorbell footage from a London home shows a man dressed in a UPS coat and holding a package ring the homeowner's doorbell. As he's waiting, he appears preoccupied on the phone. The homeowner answers, and that's when things go off the rails. A moment later, the man barges in, and 3 others come in after him. News reports from May of 2020 clarify that the suspects barged in, demanding a security box from the father. 2 men were charged in the matter, all the more reason not to open the door to anyone. This thermal camera captured a baby's cry, living people, and not so living people. First, the baby is heard. Next, a not so living person is seen on camera. And again here. Apparently, this is the background without the thermal camera on. And then lastly, a female EVP is heard. What does she know? My guess, I think she knows who the not-so-living person is lurking around the room. Judging from his relatively harmless-looking appearance, you'd never be able to tell that this man is as heartless and cruel as one can be. This 3-hour police confession in Anaheim, California, eventually culminates in his admission of taking the lives of 6 homeless men with a blade in less than a month. What strikes me is his calm, almost timid demeanor. He speaks very evenly, and you'd never expect that he was capable of generating the rage needed to plunge the blade into one person more than 60 times.
Really what you were doing is you were helping clean up the county, clean up the area.
In a way, sir, yes.
What's even more repulsive is his sense of obligation and pride while looking back at what he's done. He thinks he was doing the city a service by dispatching the unwanted. It's obvious that he does not value human life and only judges people based on how they look, with absolutely no sympathy for their potential or what they've been through.
Do you think that what you've done is right or wrong?
Wrong. but it had to be done. They were making the place look bad also.
Okay.
He is still awaiting trial and sentencing. Let me know what you think his sentence should be based on the evidence presented before you. I think he would most likely do it again and should probably be kept away from the public. Bogdan Riva of a Russian YouTube channel called Lost World has become obsessed with exploring an abandoned haunted apartment building. Paranormal activity here is hard to catch for a person, so he sets up cameras to see what scary stuff is caught on video. While he's in his car, one of his cameras picks up footsteps in a room with a creepy doll. Whether this doll is related to the paranormal activity is unknown, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was a correlation between the two, because just look at the scary thing.
Еще прошло около 2 часов, и так ничего и не происходит, ничего необычного. Единственные какие-то непонятные шумы, какие-то непонятные звуки.
He returns to the house and, not knowing what he's caught on tape, declares this paranormal investigation to be a failure.
Что происходит, мне кажется, просто либо ветер, просто либо...
He goes into the next room only to find a large, heavy shelf has been thrown to the ground by an angry poltergeist. The sight fills him with dread, but it isn't until a few seconds later that he sees something over his shoulder that makes him run with fear. I can't say I see anything here at 18 minutes, and maybe he doesn't either. It could have been a bad feeling more than anything that made him run. All I know is that I agree this house is beyond creepy, and he should get out of there. Anything that throws a shelf could easily do the same to him. A YouTuber named Spider Reed doesn't really believe in Bloody Mary, and decides to take the mirror challenge at 3 a.m. He spins around 3 times while saying her name. Immediately afterwards, he gets a very distant look and goes down. Spider Reed doesn't move from the ground for over 1 full minute. When he finally gets to his feet again, he hardly looks the same as before. He slowly turns around and leaves the room in a dreamlike state, with his eyes still closed. If this is a true possession, then exactly how long he stayed possessed for, or what happened next is unclear. Ruptured asphalt, a volcano of water, mud flooding an entire street. That's what happened in Ukraine's capital of Kiev in May of 2017, published by KVN. This incident occurred due to a 2-meter wide pipe breaking while work was being done on a water canal. The footage shows the very moment the volcano breaks through the asphalt, toppling over garbage cans and gently nudging the cars in its path out of the way. Another camera angle captures just how high the mud reached. According to reports, the mud slushy hit all the way up to the 7th floor of a building. Miraculously, no one was harmed in the event, but some of these cars definitely needed a few runs through the car wash. Translated from Portuguese, the video's title, "The Bride of the Train Line," gives us some inclination of what fears to expect. Published to YouTube by Ravana in July of 2017, a group of adventure seekers are wandering down a train track at night. For a long while, they walk without encountering anything unusual. In the darkness, there's no one for miles around. City lights twinkle in the distance, but the group appears to be far from town. As they walk and chat carelessly along the train tracks, the camera pans to the side for a moment, where it captures this figure in white.
Nossa, mas...
Terrified screaming ensues as the men turn to run back the way they came. The bride figure too appears to race away from the tracks, presumably back to her haunted wedding. Does this deter you from jumping trains at night? If not, then you might be next in line to catch the ghostly bridal bouquet. Who's there? Your worst nightmare. Posted by Deadhead Gillies to the Ghosts subreddit. The Redditor says there's something knocking in the walls, and we don't have to take her word for it because she has video proof. It sounds like someone is knocking insistently at the door, only there's no one there. She says this has continued for 2 months. She's not the only one to have had such an experience. Redditor Ritual Maniac writes in the comments that the same knocking pattern occurred at a house she once lived in, along with other paranormal happenings like voices, doors opening, running, etc. When they moved, everything, including the nightmares and unexplainable bad feelings, all vanished. The Redditor says this knocking wasn't heard initially and just started happening randomly as of late. At one point, when her boyfriend lived there, he even heard laughing and whispering. The Redditor said after sending the videos to her grandmother, a pastor was supposed to come and visit, but of course an ongoing event began earlier this year and prevented that. Some in the comments think it's the pipes, others say it's likely a pesky animal, but myself and many others are leaning towards the paranormal. Game of Onions writes, let him in already, must be cramped in there, but I wouldn't take that advice. Mass Most Haunted posted this video in 2012. The YouTuber claims that his house is haunted. In the description, he writes, paranormal activity happens so much that ghost voices are caught on EVPs. In any video recorded in my house. In this video, a ghost is caught on camera scaring my kitten, and while I was filming paranormal activity in my kitchen, a ghost throws a large box at my kitten. Luckily, my cat was not hurt and I caught it on camera. The YouTuber is a paranormal investigator, and the video clips were recorded around Christmas time. The investigator also notes that paranormal activity is high in his home at this time of year, and although the ghosts rarely hurt him or his cats, sometimes they do. In this video, according to the investigator, during the Nutcracker song that served as background during a television commercial, one of the ghosts is heard in an EVP saying Nutcracker. I don't know about this one. Sounds like part of the commercial to me, but what happens next is really frightening. The investigator believes the ghosts are speaking vulgarities and some of them are evil, including one that has attacked the homeowner and whose favorite pastime is throwing things at the cat to scare it. The intro to the clip notes that if a ghost is trying to make you notice it and you ignore them, one way or another they will find a way to get to you, and the clip shows that's true. In the clip, one of the kittens is leaving the kitchen. As she exits, the kitten jumps suddenly and turns around to look down the hallway. Then she jumps backwards, scared by something. The YouTuber says that something was thrown at the kitten from the kitchen, and zooming in on the place where the kitten was standing, a shadow falls from the kitchen to the hallway, suggesting something has indeed been thrown.
She just got scared by something. I don't know if you just saw that, but ooh, something.
The lights in the kitchen are also flickering as this occurs. What did the poor kitten see? What scared her? We may never know. A YouTuber named Exploring with Felicity is exploring an abandoned house when her solo paranormal investigation goes very wrong. She thinks she hears spooky and creepy noises upstairs, and I do too.
Very creepy.
Whatever it is, it doesn't sound like a wild animal.
I just going to trying to get used to.
She makes it to the second floor and is about to go to the third when a spectral figure passes by. We don't get to see if this was a real ghost sighting or a scary stranger dressed in all black because she is too busy running out of the abandoned house to get a closer look, which to some is all the paranormal evidence needed to conclude this scary video is probably real. This hunter captured the prey of his life while on an expedition. Published by Bigfoot's Testimony in January of 2022, the mysterious encounter occurred in a wooded area in Ohio. The footage shows a strange, grassy-looking creature creeping between the trees on a snowy fall day. The man says the creature's hair is gray or black.
His hair's gray and black. Is it gray? Is that snow?
Zooming in, the figure is barely discernible from its surroundings, like he's camouflaged. Most in the comments confirm that they've seen similar creatures in the forest. Tanner Urza writes, "These beings are very spiritual and in tune with nature." Others note that at some points it looks like a barely visible, partially invisible shadow. Is this the grassman of Ohio, or do we have another legendary creature on our hands? Either way, I think I'll be staying clear of that forest. A Redditor named RadLad1 made a 3-post series about a possible ghost lurking in his closet. In the first video, he stands outside and hears a dripping noise. It's very quiet, so I'll boost the sound for you to better hear. That sounds like it could be a leaky pipe or something, but look what happens when he goes to open it.
Okay, that's not.
His hand isn't even touching anything when there's a knock from the other side. The question is whether this is a spirit or just someone he knows. The first video piqued Reddit's interest, so he began documenting more. The spirit is in a foul mood on a different night and the noises grow persistent. RadLad1 finds himself reluctantly standing before his haunted closet once again. The air sounds charged with electricity and carries with it a distant wail, and that's when he notices the door is slightly ajar. Okay, so this could be fake, and the second person could be inside the closet, but wouldn't the shadow of their arm show against the wall here when they slam the door? I see nothing. By now, paranormal activity during the day too, whereas before it was just late at night. Everyone is demanding he open the closet and show them what's inside, and he waits until it starts making noises to prove to everyone, once and for all, that this closet is quite haunted. There's absolutely nothing inside but this creepy doll, which says everything I need to know. However, shortly before he opens the closet, there's a brief moment where he zooms out of focus. This could be where he stopped recording to let his friend out, then zoomed back into focus to make it look like a continuous take, but it looks pretty real to me. When a YouTuber named Dre Nation is walking home at 3 a.m. in his native country of Jamaica, he begins to worry about what could happen to him at such a late hour, so he starts recording a video to make himself feel safer. The road he is on is not well lit at all except for the occasional street lamp, and most of the video is nothing but darkness. Few people are up to any good at this hour, and every passing car fills him with dread. After marching through the night for some time, Dre senses something watching him from afar. He spins around and thinks he sees something, though I don't think it shows up on camera. Let me know if you see something under the street lamps in the distance.
So where I come from there? What's that?
Soon he hears a pack of stray dogs barking from far away.
I'm so f***ing scared.
It sounds like they are gaining on him, but it's impossible to tell how many of them there are, or how close they are because he is now fleeing down the darkest part of the road. He doesn't want to trip over something and snap an ankle while running full speed in the pitch black night, so he isn't fast enough and eventually they catch up with him. Thankfully, the dogs turn out to be too small to do much of anything, but that doesn't stop them from giving him an awful fright. He eventually composes himself and completes the rest of the way home. In 2009, a YouTuber named TC Ballinger uploaded 2 ghost videos from Gettysburg, Pennsylvania that are widely regarded by most as being authentic. The first one was taken near Wheatfield Road, about a mile from a major site known only as the Triangular Field, rumored to be quite cursed by the final moments of many. A figure crosses the road accompanied by an echoing moan. Real or fake is my question. TC Ballinger zooms in and picks up another figure, this time in more detail, followed by a third. What is your take on this? Do they look like distinct individuals, or is this the same CGI model being recycled? He then goes on to a different location that is only a half mile from the Triangular Field. More spirits appear before him in the same fashion as before. Is this video editing, or did he just capture the real reason why this area as a whole is designated as a no trespassing zone? Sometimes ghost hunters become the hunted. Published by Yoon Sai-won in April of 2021. That's what happened to this Korean ghost hunter on one of his most recent investigations. Upon entering the haunted locale, he hears a strange noise.
안녕하세요.
It could be a dog barking in the distance, but who knows? Whatever it is, he has a bad feeling.
이 불길한 기운은?
And that feeling grows when the EMF meter reacts strongly, despite there being no electricity in the place. Using facial recognition software, faces also start to appear around the abandoned place. And they're getting closer by the second. Later, as the ghost hunter is using a spirit box, he hears a loud bump in the night. And then again as he continues his search. Is Yoon Sai-won being stalked? It may be best to call off this ghost hunt. What you don't know can't panic you, right? Posted to Reddit, the uploader, Jason Green 3 explains in the comments, on April 25th, 2013, at about 9:20 p.m. local time, an unknown object at low altitude flew directly across the Rafael Hernandez Airport runway in Aguadilla, Puerto Rico, causing a delayed departure of a commercial aircraft. Green continues on, explaining that this infrared video on the thermal imaging systems of the CPB DHC-8 aircraft was captured by US authorities. This video is reportedly obtained legitimately by an anonymous source. According to their information, the object, between 3 to 5 feet wide, was flying around various speeds between 40 and 120 miles per hour with an 80 mile per hour median speed. When it entered the water, its speed did not slow down or demonstrate obvious impact, traveling at a similar average speed as it had in the air. Upon entering the ocean, the object spilt, re-emerged for an instant, and then both pieces traveled at the same speed. The Redditor writes that there's no known origin for this object, and no clue as to what might travel at these speeds through air and water. At least one Redditor suggests it's a weather balloon, while most others accept that this is an unidentified flying device. What do you think this could be? And are you panicked? A YouTuber named Sarah Elizabeth brings some friends to search for ghosts at the Columbia State Park in California. When they start hearing weird noises, they think it could be an old water pump turning on, but I'm not so sure. So you tell me what this is.
45 degrees out. That's pretty cold. What is that sound?
Later, they are walking down a historic street when they get a bad feeling about one of the houses. These historic houses are empty, and no one has lived in them for quite some time. Check out the curtains here at the 10-minute mark. Notice how they are pretty much closed. Now look again, and 15 seconds later, you'll see they do appear to be open much wider this time.
Doesn't that curtain look like it's moving? Over there?
Finally, as they look out onto the old creepy street, their camera picks up this nearby growl.
I never kept orbs on. I never kept orbs on. I never kept orbs on.
They don't seem to hear it until later, but tell me if you can. Thank you so much for getting me to 30,000 subscribers here on my Clips channel. If you want to support, please press that subscribe button. Let's get to 40,000 subscribers next. Thank you.